You've been told gratitude lists will make you healthier, happier, and richer. But what if they do nothing or even make your life worse? If they really worked, why are so many people still stuck, broke, and anxious after years of writing them? Today, I'm going to expose why this self-help technique might be one of the biggest lies in personal growth and what to do instead. Let's get started. So first things first, what are gratitude lists? If you haven't come across this, and I'm sure 99.99% of people have, a gratitude list is a list where you write down what you're grateful for. So if I was to do it right now, I might get a piece of paper or an app on my phone, and I might write something down like, I'm grateful for my guitar. I'm grateful for this desk. I'm grateful for this iPhone that I'm recording this video on, right? I write that down. And the idea is whenever I do that, I'm going to start to feel more grateful for what I have, more abundant. And so I'll feel happier, of course. Also, people talk about that you'll feel more abundant. And of course, like attracts like. So if you feel more grateful, if you feel more abundant, less scarcity, you're actually going to create more abundance and success in your life. So that's basically a gratitude list. You can do it when you wake up in the morning. You can do it at night. I've done them in there's apps on the phone you can use. You can do it with a journal. You can just do it in your head, praying to God or whoever you want to pray to. So yeah, that's gratitude lists. Now in this video, I'm not saying that gratitude lists are worthless. I'm not saying you should never do them at all. To me, gratitude lists these days are basically a coping mechanism. They're not fixing the root problem, the cause of what's underneath all the anxiety and the sense of scarcity, which we'll get to in a second, but they help you feel a bit better about it. The best way to illustrate this is with a quick story. So let's say one day you go to the bathroom and you find out that the toilet is blocked. Someone's been in there and they have done some epic shit. And now the toilet's blocked. It stinks, it smells, it's gross. You can't bear to be in that room. Now you have two choices. Do you fix the toilet, right? You get a plunger, you get the tools, you get whatever you need to actually clean the toilet, unblock the toilet, or do you go outside the toilet, maybe go sit in your living room, get a notepad out and think about how you're so grateful that you have a house to live in. You're so grateful that you got to eat last night. You're so grateful that you have clean drinking water. Sure, it might help you feel better about the blocked toilet. You might not be so stressed or worried about it, but guess what? The toilet is still blocked. And that's the thing with gratitude lists, I believe, my experience, I think this is pretty logical. If you have a problem in your life and you start to make a gratitude list and think about how grateful you are for whatever it is, right, you will feel better. That is a thing. However, it's not necessarily going to fix the actual problem there. In the case of the blocked toilet, just because you're grateful for a nice house, grateful that you have a toilet, grateful that you have clean drinking water or whatever, doesn't actually fix the toilet. To fix the toilet, you have to go into that bathroom, get the plunger or whatever tool you need and actually start plunging and cleaning that toilet. And it's a bit messy and it's a bit gross and you have to get a bit dirty. Right? That's what it takes to clean the toilet. Gratitude lists help you feel better about it, but the actual work of fixing the real problem is to get the plunger to clean the actual toilet. Now, another example of this, just to have another story, another perspective, another idea, a way of thinking about this, is that when you have a negative voice in your head, right? Take anxiety or imposter syndrome, something where you're like, oh, look, I'm a terrible person. I can't do it. It's never going to work. I hate you. I want to die. Whatever it is, right? There's all these different negative thoughts that I think every human has to deal with sometimes. To me, doing a gratitude list in that situation might make you feel better, but it's a bit like you've got someone in your house, right? You've got a baby screaming, right? Or a child, or someone in your house is screaming. They're upset, they're stressed out, they're anxious. And instead of going to talk to that person and help them to calm down, to understand hey, what's going on here? Like, tell me about it. Talk to me. Like, what's happening? Why? Like, what are you so upset about? How can I help you, right? Instead of that, gratitude list to me is like saying, I'm just going to ignore you as best I can and I'm going to focus all the way over here and focus on the things I'm grateful for. So you've got someone screaming in your house, the house being your body, your nervous system, someone screaming your mind, someone screaming at the top of their lungs that they hate you or that it's never going to work or that I'm a terrible person and everyone's going to find out or whatever the negative story is. That's going on. There's someone in there and instead of dealing with that, you're over here going, man, I'm so grateful I have clean drinking water. Right? It's ridiculous. Now, the point of these stories is to show you that, to make it really easy to understand, that gratitude might make you feel better in the moment about whatever the problem is, but it's not usually going to fix the problem. Unless the problem is literally that you don't write gratitude lists. But last I checked, humans did not evolve writing gratitude lists. This is a fairly recent thing. So to me, what we're actually trying to solve with gratitude lists, which is usually anxiety, depression. Basically, we feel something uncomfortable, we don't want to feel it, we're unhappy, we're unfulfilled, we're stressed out, we can't sleep, whatever it is. And we use the gratitude list to feel a bit better about that, and it can help. But again, like the blocked toilet and like the screaming person in the house, it's not actually helping you deal with the root problem. And that's really how gratitude lists can actually make your life worse, and why I've titled this video The Death of Gratitude Lists, right? So number one is they can trap you in toxic positivity. So you can then focus on being positive and happy and cheerful about your situation, even while the house is burning down, even while the toilet's blocked, which can actually distract you from fixing the actual problem, right? Instead of fixing the toilet, you just sit somewhere else and don't even look at it and think about how great your life is, all the things you're grateful for. Right? You don't actually deal with the problem. And over time, this can build resentment, anxiety, depression, because you're not actually facing the feelings, the emotions, the stuff that's behind this anxiety, all of that. Okay. Now, one example of this is when someone in a bad job or a bad relationship thinks about how grateful they are to have this partner, how good the partner is, or the positive traits of the partner. And there is a place for that. But sometimes your partner sucks and you need to leave them. And focusing too much on the positive can actually prevent you from seeing the truth of the situation. So that's toxic positivity. Number two is gratitude lists can create a false sense of progress. So writing things down can feel like self-improvement, like you're actually getting somewhere. But again, like with the blocked toilet, you're not really doing anything. You're literally writing stuff down. And it might feel better in the moment, but you're not doing the work to fix the thing, right? Leaving the job, breaking up with the person, cleaning the toilet. Now, the third reason gratitude lists can make your life worse is something that most people aren't aware of, and that's the survival stress that's inside you. Gratitude lists can numb you to that. So, I mean, this is really simple, actually. If you go back to the example of the blocked toilet, right? Instead of feeling the frustration that your toilet's blocked, you can actually just go and think about how grateful you are to have a house. When what you would be really, what would be worthwhile doing is to feel the frustration, which would then give you the fuel to actually do something about it. Instead of disassociating from that, right? Taking this uncomfortable, I don't even want to say negative, but an unpleasant feeling, distracting yourself from it, you're cutting yourself off from it. You're numbing yourself from the uncomfortable feeling. So that's the three reasons why gratitude lists can actually make your life worse. Now, all of this begs the question, if gratitude lists aren't working, if gratitude lists are not necessarily making your life better, what can you actually do? Well, number one, we have to get clear on what is the actual problem. If you're stressed out, if you're anxious, if you're unfulfilled, if you feel like something's missing in your life, no matter what you do, is the problem that you don't write gratitude lists, or is something else going on? Now, in my experience, my belief is that in most of these situations, not all of them, of course, but a large majority of these situations, the problem is a dysregulated nervous system, which essentially means that someone's nervous system is stuck in varying amounts of fight and flight on the one side and freeze in the other, which is akin to having, if your nervous system was a car, it would be like having the accelerator on and the brake on at the same time. So you're trying to go forward and run and do things, and you're trying to shut down and disconnect at the same time. This is what's creating anxiety and depression and insomnia and racing thoughts and overthinking and bad boundaries and all those things. It also creates a lot of physical health issues, whether we're talking about chronic pain, chronic fatigue, autoimmune conditions, right? So this nervous system dysregulation to me is the root of this. Anxiety to me is just you're stuck in a sympathetic state, sympathetic fight and flight. You can't come down, you don't feel safe, so your system keeps pumping out the stress chemicals, cortisol and adrenaline, all that stuff. You don't feel safe, so it can't come out of that survival response. Of course you feel anxious. It's exactly what you would feel if you were truly unsafe and being chased by a bear. The problem is that feeling never goes away. So the problem in that is you're stuck in fight and flight, right? And then on the other hand, you have freeze, which to me is, if you can't attack the thing and destroy it to get it out of the way, and you can't run away, what do? You freeze, you play dead, right? And of course in that, there's no energy. I can't move. I'm meant to be dead. Right? If I move, if I do something, they'll see me and they'll destroy me. I'm not saying that life is actually like that, but a lot of people unconsciously feel like that in their bodies. They don't even realize it. And so that's why there's no motivation, because the system's like, don't move. It's not safe to move. It's not safe to do anything. Stay perfectly still and maybe the danger will pass. Right? And the real problem here is the nervous system hasn't realized that it's actually, in a lot of cases, quite safe. You are safe right now. We're not talking about danger right now. We're talking about danger from our childhood, danger from bad events in our past. That happens and our nervous system gets kind of stuck. And that's where anxiety, that's insomnia. Insomnia, you can't sleep because you don't feel safe. It's not safe to let your guard down to go to sleep. Right? So the root of this is nervous system dysregulation. Now the question is, do gratitude lists fix dysregulation in the nervous system? Right? If you were being chased by a bear, how would you know that you're safe and you're finally able to relax? Is it by looking at a tree and being like, man, I'm so grateful for this tree? Is that going to tell your system that, hey, it's time to relax? Or would it be better to actually go, hang on, let me just check if the bear is even here, right? Let me have a look around and see if the bear is still there. Oh, it's not there. Oh, now I can relax. Right? That's one of the steps with nervous system work, is you start to orient to the safety in your environment. So instead of trying to distract yourself from what you're feeling, give yourself what you're actually looking for. Give your nervous system what it's actually looking for, which is safety. Not saying I'm safe, right? The nervous system doesn't really speak words, language, right? Think about a baby. You can't tell a baby to calm down when it can't understand the language yet. How do you calm it down? You show it that it's calm. You might rock it to sleep, you know? Talk to it in a nice, calm voice, right? You might, in the case of an animal, if you were looking around, how do you know if it's safe? You actually look around to see if it's safe. It's so simple. And yet almost no one does this. They don't teach you this with gratitude lists or journaling or even meditation. I have not heard one meditation teacher ever say, hey, just look around right now and see if it's safe where you are. I'm sure some of them do, but I've never met one, right? So this basically means that the solution, the problem you're trying to solve with gratitude lists, anxiety or depression or I'm not happy or whatever it is, the real problem is not that you don't write gratitude lists. The real problem is that you have a dysregulated nervous system. And so there's different tools for that. And if you do that, you might find that either gratitude lists you just don't really need them anymore because gratitude is just naturally there. It's naturally available. You were just grateful to be alive. Right? Or on the other hand, you might find that they actually work far better because now you've addressed the underlying dysregulation in the nervous system. Okay, so it starts with orienting to the safety in the environment. There's other techniques, there's education involved. It's a whole thing. This is what I teach people. What I'll do is if you want to learn more about this, there's a free lesson I've got on here on YouTube. I'm going to put it right here. Right, left here. Anyway, where I'm pointing, there will be a free lesson there. If you click that, or there'll be a link in the description, click that, go and do the first lesson from the Raychart Academy, completely free. There's no sign up required. Give it a try and see how you feel afterwards and see if you actually feel better than you ever have with gratitude lists. Okay, bye for now.